please use caution. Cold like 0 degrees. I'm out the cage, gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in a cage, I'ma let out the sheets. We came for one man, forget my peace. You take the west, I'll take on the east. I'ma put him in the cage, never let out the. I hear him chat to the noise, move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys, not so tough, but mans keep walking, yeah. Just too sharp with the prize, like there's no to tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan, if you wanna touch me, please use caution. Stop that, stop that, stop that.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to the Dan Le Batard Show. Sans Dan Le Batard. But don't worry. I got you. I'm here with my dog, Hawk. And it's not just him. We got a whole bunch of people. Give me some music, Chris. In the EP chair.
Oh, this is nice.
It's Chris Cody, a.k.a. Christmas Cody, a.k.a. Big Red.
Am I supposed to say anything? Nope. Back to you.
Was good. I like that. Next to him, we got Roy, the Iceman, a.k.a. the boy toy, Roy Bellamy.
What's up?
Love you, Roy. In the back row behind Roy, we got Jessica Smetana, a.k.a. Smetty Wop, a.k.a. Trap Queen.
Smetty
Why
gang.
you still dapping?
Smetty gang, we dab forever.
Just waiting for them to put me on. Oh,
There it is. Dabbing, I see you.
Let's go.
Across from them, we'll jump that. We got my guy, my security blanket, Charlie Kravitz, a.k.a. the Vanilla Snack. Hit him with a salute.
What up?
Curly, Justin Timberfake.
Let's go.
And our number one go-to guys, the quickest man in history, quite possibly the most talented dude in this building right now. He also dressed like he cared about himself, which I appreciate, which is rare for the Le Batard Show.
What?
It's Andrew, the Hawk, Hawkins.
Let's go.
And Mike.
I thought that was Mike. I thought that was Mike's intro until you said Hawk. I'm like, man, he is quick. Quick as a whip.
fastest man to do what?
No,
I care about myself.
he's witty.
Oh, man. Hey, guys. Gonna have a good show today. I want to start with some football because it's me and Hawk in here
Let's talk ball.
talking football.
Real ball knowers in here.
Hut.
And it's the only sport that, like, this country really cares about. All the other sports are tertiary. There's one sport that's main, and that's football, and we finna get some more of it, supposedly. So, Hawk, 18 games.
I don't see a lot of supportive faces
Yeah.
as that comment.
Yeah.
It was
Hold on.
Smetty went right to the laptop. Roy was checking his emails.
It's
I
like
don't feel good about
it's
it.
like a niche sport equinox going on recently, especially down here in South Florida. So,
Yeah.
So don't start with football?
But we like if it was in terms of like country NIL, football
Yeah.
would take like 80% of the pot, right?
it does an actual NIL.
Yeah. So
It also contributes 100%.
I
of
guess
the
it doesn't
pot.
need an
So, I
analogy.
mean,
You're right.
You want to start with some niche sports equinox? Like
No,
that?
run the damn ball. Start with football.
Run the rock.
FB dive.
Yeah. So the 18-game thing is something we've been talking about for a while. Even back when you and I were in the league, they put it on the table in the 2011 negotiations, and we promptly slapped that right off the table.
Yep.
But we knew it was coming back around because the NFL has a ton of power and leverage, and money is what matters.
Yes.
So what are you thinking, Hawk, about the 18-game schedule that the owners are now, the owner meeting and the Breakers discussing it today?
Number one, we're old as hell, right? I think this is the overarching lesson here is that we're all old, not you guys as well, not just me and Neek being fossil football players. Because when they introduced it, it seemed so ridiculous. But here's the tactic that the league always uses, and it always works. I remember I think it was 2012. They were like, "Hey, we're gonna mandate that you wear knee pads."
Oh yeah.
And it was an uproar. And that sounds
ridiculous.
crazy. Everyone was like, "What? We got to wear knee pads? I'm going to be so slow." And we tried to revolt against having to put and it's like little fake pads that you can't even see, but just the fact that we had to put them on cuz we didn't have to wear knee pads. It was just thigh pads And I don't think thigh pads were a thing.
No.
There was no thigh pads, no knee pads.
We
So
would rip the thigh pads out because the thigh pads were made of like cushioning around a tiny plastic plate, and everyone would cut the plate out and just put the plate in your thighs or wear nothing.
Or wear nothing. So I just wore shoulder pads on a game day. Yeah. That's it. Just shoulder pads and a helmet. I would wear a helmet. That was a smart thing to do. But I remember there being an uproar with all the players that they had to put these pads into their pants. Mm-hmm. And then over time, as the league got younger and guys came in and it was just the norm, no one ended up caring about it by the time that I retired. And so that's the genius of the league. Introduce 18 games at a point where everybody says how ridiculous it is. But now, for the guys that are coming into the league, the young guys, they've been hearing it so long, they know it's coming, and it's not as big of a deal to them.
I agree with that as the league strategy. And the league's other strategy is also be bigger and more powerful.
Yeah, also have all the leverage.
Yeah. And so,
do you want money or not?
Yeah, we could talk about it. I think we should actually get into how the increased revenue is going to be split because it's going to go disproportionately to the stars and quarterbacks, while the people who are going to take the brunt of the wear and tear are not those guys. But I would like to also focus on how old we are because
it's a good topic.
You know what? I remember coming up and learning that at one point there was only 14 games. And I was like, man, what? That's crazy. And to imagine that I played in the league will soon have 18 games. I would have played, you think about that. You think about the players who played in a 14-game league. When we were in a 16-game league, I thought about them like they were fossilized. I am going to be a guy very soon when they had 18 games and they could be like, oh, you play. They used to have 16 games? I'm like, yeah, we used to have 16 games.
When did they have 14? Because I'm not going to lie, you just dropped that bomb on me live on air. I guess I assumed
when the Dolphins went undefeated
that at some point, yes, there were less games, but I never thought that there were living people.
1978 was when they switched to
78.
So we
Jeez.
Yeah, this is not the smart idea to talk about how old we are to start this show.
But it does actually help out people that are feeling old in that this finally gets us to that President's Day Monday Super Bowl hangover. So most of the nation.
This is how they're going to sell it. They're going to be like, look, all the fans want Monday after the Super Bowl off. You selfish players.
Just like that, I'm in. I didn't think about that either. You guys are. Well, you should work for the committee. Damn.
Well, you picked an industry, and you're probably going to have to work that day.
We've always had it off. Now we're not going to have it off.
But I need it. It's okay that I have to work.
No more games.
I need more viewers.
No more games.
So there's a couple different avenues that we could go down, and I think the idea of flooding the market with a product eventually has some sort of backlash is one way to go, but I don't feel like we got any takers. I was talking to Charlie about this yesterday, and he looked at me like I was stupid because I know how ridiculous it sounds that giving more football could be a bad thing because I know how much we all love football.
Yeah.
However, the final week of the season last year, there was a lot of trash on my TV screen.
Yeah.
Right? I think we're to the point where we're going to need 2 bye weeks now.
Wow. Oh, yeah. I like where your head's at, Roy.
The 2 bye weeks is not going to solve the fact that there are going to be more irrelevant games at the end of the season, and there's a possibility that we could get tired of football. Am I crazy? Am I crazy, Chris?
No. By week 17 this year, I'm like, I'm good on Red Zone. See you next week for the playoffs.
Really?
I mean, there are going to be some seasons that we're going to ask ourselves, why'd we do this? The last 3 weeks of the season are meaningless, but then it's going to work out with the numbers that there's going to be a crazy wild card chase, and you're still going to have that issue, but it's not like that hasn't existed. I mean, the Jets have been playing terrible football the last month of the season that hasn't really mattered for quite some time. In your playing career,
thanks. Thanks for pointing that out.
I mean, you would take those trips down to Jacksonville, and you'd be like, all right, I guess we have to play.
Yeah, no, for
People
sure.
did buy tickets.
We could have just kept it centered at the organizations I played for, or generalized it. But I'm glad you specifically pointed out Hawk.
I mean, if
in your career,
if anyone has experience,
there's been so many games I've watched you, and I'm like, what has my life become?
How many games did you play where it was like, all right, this means something?
So all week ones.
Yeah, week ones were.
You'd get up for week one.
It was like that same intro Nick just did. It was me every week one. With the Bengals, I played some meaningful games.
Yeah, you made it to playoffs.
With the Browns in my years, it was rough. It was a tough go.
It's tough. Like before the leaves change, your season's done.
Yeah, man, it's still hot outside. It was like, damn, who's first overall pick? They're saying next year. No, okay.
Who am I gonna
You're
meet?
looking at mocks in September.
Right. Yeah, I'm like, okay.
Like, I hope there's no hot receivers.
Yeah. It's like there's not any really diminutive receivers that are super fast coming out, is there? Okay, good. Whew.
I was fortunate enough to not have those situations. But, I mean, I guess I'm not a math major, but my thought would be that if you extend the season, there's more of a chance for you to end up with more teams that are out of it. And that's what I'm concerned about more than anything. And that aside, is it possible, and, like, this is a broader business question probably, that there's a bunch of different ways to, like, kill a business. And maybe I'm wasting my time and I'm going down a really ridiculous path. But one of those ways is always tied to greed.
Yep.
And
Oversaturation.
Yeah, and, like, as we have the NBA, and, like, I know we're not going to 82 football games, and we have Major League Baseball. I think we all acknowledge that. The NBA would be far more entertaining if we had us a 60-game season.
But aren't we already, if there was a tipping point for oversaturation, wouldn't we have met it? It's not like ESPN covers the NFL like
I think
all the time, even during the off season. We're just talking about one additional week. I really don't think it means ESPN covers the sport more.
I think we figured it out. As you guys are talking, I think I've cracked the code, because I remember, and it's a bad take, I don't forget when it was, but Mark Cuban saying, pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. In 10 years, the NFL is going to – and that is not the case. And even though we get, like, late in the season annoyed by bad football or whatever the situations are, the ratings are as big as they ever have. And it's because it's not greed if you're addicted. You know what I mean? Like, there's not, like, too much.
That's a fair point.
There's not too much, like, crack.
There's never been a dope dealer on the corner.
Yeah, it's like, man, how am I going to move this?
Well,
Goodness gracious.
this is also coming at a time where the NFL's finally agreed to let private equity invest in its teams for the first time.
Yay, private equity makes everything better.
Well, I mean, that's what's going to happen with the NBA with their European expansion. Certainly going to be happening in college football. Private equity has been sniffing around college football programs for years at this point. It's the reality of the situation.
I guess to your point, Mike, and Hawk and I both work at ESPN, and we talk about football year round. So adding a week of more football, like, we're going to be talking about it whether they're games or not. At least it'll be another week of a few meaningful games, I guess.
I don't want to just, like, bypass what Mark Cuban said 10 years ago, because when he said it 10 years ago,
it seemed right.
The league was facing issues. A lot of people put it on the Kaepernick stuff, but you had that going on simultaneously where the games just weren't good. Think of who the Super Bowl champion was one year with the Denver Broncos. Quarterback play wasn't great. The league had to do something about the sport. And they did, and that's
they
probably
got Taylor Swift today, Travis Kelce.
That's exactly what they did, and honestly, that's where Roger Goodell earned his hefty salary, because everyone was saying fire Roger Goodell. He had the Ravens Ray Rice thing going on. It was a league in turmoil. And they righted the ship big time.
I mean, it was also thought like we were coming out of the concussion stuff, and people we like cared for a hot second. It's like, hey,
it was a quick minute, wasn't it, that we cared?
And then
remember, play football. Like, what do we do with this now?
Yeah,
we back, and we are joined by an incredible guest, a legend, the legendary caddy, Steve Williams. He's here to promote his book, Together We Roar, alongside Tiger for his epic 12-year, 13-major run. It comes out on April 1st. Buy it as a gift for somebody coming up for whatever holiday you want. Steve, thank you so much for joining us, man. I'm excited to have you. You're a legend.
Well, thanks very much. It's nice to be on your show, guys.
All right, so I want to start with, we're going to get to all the great golf stories that I'm sure you're in your book. You're not going to give away all the best ones, so people have to buy it. But I had a random question as I was thinking. Normally, people who work in sports are great athletes themselves also. Did you grow up playing a sport other than golf?
Yeah, I was a fanatical rugby player. You know, I'm from New Zealand, and rugby's our national sport. Everyone, when they're a kid growing up here, wants to be an All Black, and I was no different to that.
Yeah, me too. When I was growing up, all I wanted to be was black too, Stevie. So you are obviously phenomenally tough guy. Any injuries from your rugby career or gruesome hits?
No, not. I think I might have lost a couple of teeth before it was mandatory to wear a mouth guard. But no, nothing too serious. I played rugby through my early college days, and then obviously started caddying at a young age. But yeah, rugby's a big game here in New Zealand. I'm not sure if you know much about it,
Oh, yeah, no, we're well aware of rugby being a popular game in New Zealand. We steal some of your rugby athletes occasionally to come play our American football on occasion, and I've played rugby with some friends. It's a very violent game, but it's also very fun, and it's pretty straightforward.
Pure football.
It is
it's
pure.
Basically, it's like a pure version of American football is rugby.
Agreed. So, all right, the book. What in the book? Why'd you look at me like that?
You're talking. I gotta
No,
look at
because
the book.
you said it's pure football. I was like, oh, Hawk about to go somewhere with this.
Oh, okay.
Then he just looked back at me.
No. I'm just a big rugby fan.
All right. Who in the tour right now could you beat? Don't get scared. I know you watch golf and you look up and you're like, hey, I can beat some of these dudes. Who? Name them. Name some names, Steve.
No, how do you mean you can beat some of these dudes?
Oh, I mean in golf, like it's somebody on the tour you could beat.
Oh, look, I mean, anybody that's good enough to get their PGA Tour card and play on any kind of professional circuit, for every player that's out there playing, trying to make a living at golf, there's hundreds of other players that don't make it. It's a very competitive game, and to be at an elite level in golf, it's I don't think the average person would realize how much a player puts in and how much time goes into making it on the tour. It's
let me rephrase it. Let me rephrase
they're all
it,
great
'cause you're
players.
a very tough rugby man, and what you wanted me to ask is who on the tour could you beat? You could beat one of them up, right? Somebody name one of them that you want to square up with, and you could catch them because you're tougher than a golfer, right? You're tougher than all the golfers.
Oh, look, I guess me and Phil Mickelson could probably square off one day. It'd be a fair-
That's a great answer.
Yeah. I remember you called Phil a prick. You want to see him in the streets? We'd arrange this. We can get a little Netflix pay-per-view. Let's get this money, Steve. Let's get this money.
Book sales through the roof.
Oh yeah, the book sales are definitely through the roof.
Come on.
So Tiger's most recent injury. I'm sure that all of us, we have accepted that Tiger is well past his prime. The recent injuries are concerning. What are the chances that we can see another great run from Tiger? Obviously not an extended run, but another good tournament, another good major, anything from Tiger. What do you think?
Yeah, that's a great question. My personal belief is that he won't give up the dream of trying to win another major championship until the time comes when he knows it's not a possibility. So in order for him to play in a major championship and be competitive, he needs to have his body allow his body to be healed and to the point where he can practice, so that when he stands on the first tee of a major championship, he knows he's fully fit and he can play 72 holes without any ailment, and then he can compete. So Tiger's an incredible competitor, and I think he's proud of all the records he's got. I think one record he'd like to add to is winning a major championship at 50 years and older. Right. Phil Mickelson's proven that you can do that, and there's been another number of other players that have won majors late in their career. So Tiger's, I don't think he's given up the dream of doing that, and until such point where that dream's gone, where he believes he can't compete and win a major championship, I think he'll try and keep playing. So hopefully we haven't seen the last of Tiger. I mean, it would be a phenomenal story if he could come back and get himself ready where he could play in a major championship, and not only play, but give it a chance to win.
At one point, you and Tiger didn't have the greatest relationship. It sounds as if you guys, you feel better about that. But the real question is, could you whip Tiger's ass at one point?
When I went to work with Tiger, I considered myself to be reasonably fit, and he gave me a whole different perspective of what being fit was. I got it. Yeah, you could. He put me through some rigorous workouts, and sometimes I had to say, "Look, I'm done now, Tiger. I'll meet you in the car when you're finished." He's pretty strong, dude.
Together We Roar. You guys need to buy it, order it. It comes out on April 1st, 2025, alongside Tiger, his epic 12-year, 13 majors run. Chris, what you got?
Steve, do you find yourself caddying off the course where you're like a friend is walking down a hill and you're like, this hill breaks a little to the right? and there's like a little bump there that you got to avoid?
Look, when you've caddied for as long as I've caddied, I guess it's just kind of ingrained in you. Basically, I started as a kid at my local golf course here in New Zealand, sort of 8 or 9 years old, caddying every single weekend, 36 holes a day, to the point where, and then I caddied for 40 plus years on the tour. So it's something that you'll always be inclined to view things from a caddy's perspective, and not from a player's perspective, I guess.
You're like in an Uber, and you're like, you should have made a left there. I think that lane's a little better than this one. What are you doing in the middle lane here?
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
Is it possible that you could look up your Uber rating? Is that too much to ask? Is that too difficult? We had to go through all of our people in our room today to see who had the best Uber rating. Is that something that you think you could manage?
Well, I think you'd have to fair to say it's a 0 because I've never used an Uber. So,
Wow.
That is private car.
Yeah, big money. I ain't mess with no Ubers. I got a personal driver. I see you, Steve.
I drive myself everywhere haven't had the pleasure of had to use an Uber yet. And if I have used one, my wife would have booked it for me because I don't carry apps on my phone, so I'm a bit old school.
Steve, where would most likely a heated interaction between you and Tiger at the peak of you working with him, like a heated exchange, where would that take place?
Well, we only really had one heated exchange, and it was at Augusta in 2003. Tiger got to the third hole at Augusta. The tee was positioned at the front of the tee, which made it possible where you could drive the green. And I'd been out in the course earlier that morning and told them on the practice fairway that they'd moved the tee up on the third hole. So sometimes the third hole was an iron off the tee to keep it short of the bunkers, and sometimes you hit a driver to get over the bunkers, depending on where the wind is and where the hole location is. But on this particular day, the tee was moved up, so the bunkers weren't in play. There's no doubt in my mind it was a driver. He didn't like the play. I couldn't see why he didn't like the play. I talked him into it. He hit an absolute shot, and fanned it way out to the right, and eventually made a bogey on a hole that you should make 3, 4 at the worst, and it possibly stopped the momentum that he had after starting with 4-4, and didn't do any good in the tournament in the end. And he carried on like an absolute pork chop for the next few holes, and like a little sour baby, whatever. And on the ninth hole, I just absolutely let it rip. It's the first time I'd done that since I started with him. Just gave him an absolute mouthful and a bollocking about his behaviour and the way he was carrying on, and that was all good. And then when we completed the round, he said, "Hey, thanks very much for the pep talk up 9 and everything." So but like we got on like a house on fire when I was working for him. I think that was the only time that we ever had any kind of really heated argument. It was unfortunate. It was during the round of a major championship, but when I came up the 18th hole, I thought, well, this might be the last time I'm getting for Tiger. He either liked it or what I said, or he absolutely hated what I said. So, he was very good about it. So we laughed about that for a little bit.
Yeah. What do you think is the best quality that you bring, or the most value that you brought as a caddy? Was it the psychological part of it, or was it just the clubs? Or I guess I should just let you answer.
Just basically not afraid to voice your opinion. I'm straight up sort of bloke, and when there's something a lot on the line, not scared to voice your opinion and try and sway a player your way, or whatever it might be. But just basically, I think what you'll find the common trait amongst all the best caddies are guys that are prepared to stand up and not be afraid to be wrong. And obviously, when it comes down to the crux of major championships and golf tournaments and there's a lot on the line. It's very easy just to be what we call a yes man and just agree with the player, because some caddies are afraid to be wrong, but you can't ever be afraid to be wrong. If you can speak up and voice your opinion, you're going to be successful.
Name them. Who the yes men? Call them out.
No, you don't call out your workmates, that's for sure. But
that's news.
We call them out around here. Stevie, I stumbled over a question. I guarantee when we let you go, all my workmates, we are going to get along like a house on fire in this mother. Anyway, Chris, what'd you have?
I want to know what you think of Bubba Watson saying that Scheffler in 2024 was better than Tiger in 2000.
Well, I think that's a staggering statement to make. Look, if a player won 3 major championships and no other tournaments, and a player won 1 major championship, in 20 tournaments, the guy that's won 3 major championships gets the nod in everybody's book. So I don't know what he was basing that on, but you know, I guess it's above a comment. Some guys are looking for some attention. I think that's probably what he was doing here. You know, like Bubba's fallen off the radar, and he's probably looking for a bit of attention here. But look, you know, like Scotty Scheffler had an incredible year in 2024, played unbelievable golf, you know, and somewhat similar to some of the years that Tiger put together. But arguably, you can't bet against a guy that won 3 major championships in 1 year, and also in the fashion that he did it. If you look at the US Open at Pebble Beach and the Open Championship at St Andrews, not only were they victories, one was by 15 shots and one was by 7 shots. So they were memorable tournaments with breaking scoring records in both of them. So, yeah, I'm not sure whether Bubba was confusing 2000 with maybe another year.
What do you think about the TGL?
The which?
TGL. Have you been watching that all? The
down here in New Zealand, there's no way to watch that. So I haven't seen any of it. No, I can't answer that question. I haven't followed any of it. So yeah.
If you had to pick one thing that made Tiger so much more dominant than the next guy, his hands, his mental toughness, what would you say made Tiger so much better than everybody else in his prime?
Oh, look, I think it's just his desire. I mean, his desire to be the best that he could be, and you know, be the greatest player. You know, a lot of people grow up when they're youngsters and they want to be the best player in the world, and they're going to put a lot of effort in. But when you actually get onto the tour and that and realize what it takes to be the best player, it can sway your vision on how you're thinking about that. But just his continual desire. When pro athletes, as we all know and everyone's aware, they make a lot of money, and sometimes when they get a lot of
sorry, I hit a button by mistake, Steve.
Yeah, we'll talk about this afterwards.
I tried to move the microphone.
House on fire.
Yeah, they're going to call me out afterwards. Try to move the microphone, slap the button. I'm sorry, Steve. I ruined this interview.
That was terrible.
That was horrible. Steve, please continue.
That was really bad, Steve. I'm sorry.
You chunked it.
This is why
I think what happens in golf is that there's a lot of players that have, you know, a huge amount of talent, and when they get a huge amount of success, there's a lot of wealth comes around that, and when you get a lot of wealth, there becomes a lot of toys that come around, and whether it be a fishing boat, a private plane, fast cars, whatever it might be. And sometimes I think some of the guys that are capable of playing at the same level that Tiger did, they just take their foot off the gas a little bit, because the niceties that come with your success take away some of the opportunity to practice as hard, because you've got other things other toys to play with and so forth. But yeah, Tiger's just his desire and work ethic to continue to be the best player that he could be, and never had any distractions that took away from him trying to be. That's, you know, he's just a phenomenal worker and continued to work hard throughout his career to be the best player he could. And despite all his success and fame and wealth and that, nothing changed his vision on trying to be the greatest player that's ever played the game.
All right, I'm ordering my book now, as not only because I want to order it and can't wait to read it, but because I would like to apologize for messing up the interview with a button press. Together We Roar alongside Tiger for his epic 12-year run, available April 1st. What you got, Chris?
What's the golf tip that you hear on the range where you know somebody's faking it, and you know this person has no idea what they're actually talking about? And is it when someone says, "Oh, you lifted your head"?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're talking about going to the driving range with your mates and that is certainly a common thing to hear. Oh, you lifted your head, but look, you know, there's so many moving parts to a golf swing and that, and there's so many. Everybody's different in that, and everybody swings the club differently, and there's so many. Everybody has all different faults in that. But you know, your common player that plays golf, your average player that plays golf and doesn't play very often, the biggest mistake they make is they aim to the right and they come over the ball, which means, you know, because they're aiming right and they're trying to hit it left of where they're aiming that what they do, they come over it and they slice it. So, you know, you guys probably play golf and you understand what a slice is, and, you know, your common golfer that doesn't play a lot slices the ball, and, yeah, that's probably the most common thing you see.
Chris is just trying to get his golf game better. So anyway, thanks a lot, Steve. Make sure everyone orders the book coming out April 1st. Together We Roar. All right, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah, good to be on your show, guys. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you,
Steve.
I wish we was like an evolution of the tush push, right? Like I'm looking at the formation here, and I feel like if we had like a wildcat come out of the tush push, right? Where like Jalen's down there, they hike it to Jalen, and then he just like passes it between his legs to someone else, who just like pitches it out to Dallas Goedert, who's like wide open because everyone's just expecting the tush push. The problem is, it's so effective that they don't need to change the play, right?
Yeah.
Like if they were blocking it, you could start experimenting with stuff like that, but
Yeah.
they don't even need to because they just get the first down and they get 4 more downs.
They've had a couple plays off of it that they just do just because. But to Mike's point, if I were to switch sides of the argument, the position would be someone should stop it because then it would lead to something else. But what do you think about it?
My thing is, Mike, you are a noted non-NBA ball watcher. Because the game has gotten boring and redundant and homogeneous, you're asking them to do that into the NFL. Just make it a more boring game.
I don't think that play happens that often, where it's every time down the court they're looking for threes. Every play, every snap, they're not looking for a tush push. So I understand the point, and I understand why people are fearful, but it's been around for 3 years now. And still, like, one team's doing it all the time. They're famous for it. None of the other teams are doing it as well.
So
they're in my division, though. That's a problem.
So my point, and maybe I'm wrong, but I think that's an excellent analogy that you bring up, the 3-point. Like the 3-point line, when it was introduced, it took decades before it became a homogeneous part of the game. My point is we keep getting back to why this matters in competition and saying, whoa, defense is just being soft. My point is, and it's a hard thing to do in professional sports, it's a business with 2 goals. It's 1 to win and well, actually, it's probably 1 to make money and 2 to win. And I agree wholeheartedly. If we're focusing on the winning part of it, yeah, that's fine. But if you're talking about the make money part of it, I do believe that this is a step in a direction that I could be completely wrong. Maybe if we allow this to keep going, it does not go down a path that makes the game less entertaining or less interesting. But to the point about 3-pointers, let's add 3-pointers. They're fun. This is cool. This is different. Now we're in a place in modern basketball where the 3-point shot has taken over to the point where some people complain about it.
Okay, no, I'll listen to that NBA point because it's a good one. Look, the Phoenix Suns were really exciting because they kind of saw the inefficiencies out there, D'Antoni, then Daryl Morey, and then after Phoenix had their success with it, it took a couple of years, but then every team in the NBA started playing like the Phoenix Suns and having more possessions. Literally in every level of football, one team's doing this to this level. You're not really seeing it in college football. You're seeing, well, high school football, who knows? You get all sorts of kooky offenses there. But in terms of football top down, it's the Philadelphia Eagles. We haven't gotten to the point where it's been oversaturated and every team in the league is doing it and ruining the game the way that the Phoenix Suns revolutionized the NBA and to a degree kind of ruined it, to the point that I'm here saying that we got to make the courts bigger. We got to back up the 3-point line because they've mastered this. They've cracked the code. Baseball, they cracked the code, and then baseball had to come in and correct it. I don't think we're at that tipping point. It's one thing to be fearful of a tipping point, but when one team is doing it that much better than everybody else, it kind of feels like sore loserdom.
Let's not get to the tipping point. That is, to me, is my point. But you think you're capable of switching sides of the argument?
If every team is doing the tush push and it becomes like,
I'm asking,
oh man, this is so boring. Every play, like this is so predictable. Like I'll come around on it. I used to love threes and now I hate threes.
I'm not asking if I can convince you to. I'm asking that if I decided that you are a lawyer and it just so happens that your firm decided that you're going to argue the other side, would you be capable of doing that?
I wouldn't take the case this year. I wouldn't.
I wouldn't recommend it. It was a tough go around for me this morning. I was trying to go back and like, hey, I'm all opposition. I think it's great for football, and it just.
I only take cases I can win.
Confusing.
I do. So that I was going to try to do that in order to put me on the other side of the argument, but because I wanted to make the point that I think the trap that I could be falling into is I could be trying to protect against something that is not going to happen. So, like, if the element of the tush push stayed the way it was this season, I don't have a problem with that. I agree with you. It's entertaining. My concern is what it then leads to from an entertainment standpoint. And a lot of the reason why the NFL has not found itself at this tipping point for so many different issues is because you know what happened? When things happen that impact the entertainment value of the game, NFL address it. When Tom Brady gets his knee hit at the beginning of the season, I'm in the league as a defensive player like, that's terrible. Well, you're doing everything. You make it so hard. Where can we hit him? Hit him between here and here. That's not good. But when we have Tom Brady's career extended and we have quarterbacks healthier longer, I recognize that that is better for the health and the interest of the game. And they didn't wait until 4 quarterbacks got their knees torn up. And that's just the point that I'm making is you stay ahead of these things. This would fall into the category for me of them staying ahead of these things. And the reason why the trade-off for me is all decisions are about trade-offs. And so if I see this and if we're willing to understand that the tush push has a 10%, 15%, 30% chance of metastasizing into a version of football that we don't like, is that worth it to save the tush push? I would say the tush push is not fun or interesting or exciting enough for me to keep in the game if I'm willing to accept that where it could go in the future is somewhere that makes football less like the football that we enjoy.
That's a great argument.
Damn good.
That's a damn good argument. I would just say, like, let's wait till it gets to that point. Like, let's have it actually tip.
So that's.
But what is it in place of the tush push?
Conventional sneaks
or a punt.
It's more fun than a punt.
It is.
But
and if it extends an offensive drive, which means to more points and more offense,
it's making offenses more aggressive.
Technically making it more entertaining?
You said it's more fun than a punt because you scared to return punts.
No, I'm a gunner. Yeah, I'm also scared to return punts.
Punts are fun.
But so is more aggressive offenses, and knowing that you have 4 downs to play with.
Fair catches.
No,
it's like,
I
all
agree with
go
you.
to the bathroom on punts, man.
I'm by all means.
Honest,
you are right. But I don't think that that's what would happen. In this version of the NFL where coaches are being a lot more aggressive on 4th downs, you're saying that now on 4th and 1, if we take the tush push away, all these hyper-aggressive coaches who are going for it on 4th and 3 in their own territory are going to all of a sudden say, oh, well, we can't push, guys. Well, we can't push. That 1 yard is so scary now. Like, I don't think that's going to happen. They're going to do an actual football play. They're going to hand it to Saquon Barkley, and I'm going to be like, hey, this is fun. That might go for 60. This is cool.
When Bill Goldberg was in WCW and he started out his career with this undeniable streak, we didn't just outlaw the spear and the jackhammer.
No.
Kevin Nash got a taser and did what he had to do to end this streak. So
that's how you stop
Scott Hall.
That's how you stop a football play with a taser.
Well, what I'm saying is, can I see someone stop it? Can I think it's going to be high drama when a team, and the day is going to come in a big moment where a team finally has an answer for this, and that'll stand the test of time.
I like
especially
that
if it's in a game of import. Like, that's going to be a moment in time.
I like that take. I love that take.
That's a good take.
If you could promise me, if you could guarantee me that is how the tush push ends, I would sign up for it. But what you're saying is,
let's have a loser leaves town match.
However, the point I'm making is maybe that's not how it ends up. Maybe no one figures out how to stop the tush push. And then maybe every other team in the league starts to draft in order to run their own tush push and to stop the tush push. And then we end up with a league where one Tony Saragusa, awesome. We end up with a league where everybody got 3 Tony Saragusas, and we like, why they don't throw the ball no more?
Come on,
Dominic,
man.
I'm conceding that I don't want to see that either.
And you're saying wait until
we start seeing
I don't mind it. I'm okay because I like now there's another entertainment factor.
Hold on, the smallest guy
Yes.
in football is now like, I want more of them big dudes?
I want more physical nature on the field, man. I miss it. It's the one thing you don't get in corporate America. There is no 40 under 40 that can give, hit that. I miss it, man. All right? So I need it in my football. But I do like the entertainment version of it. Yes, the game, entertainment in and of itself. But I think the thing that we a lot of times miss is like the character arc of football. Meaning like we go through the draft. What did this guy run in the 40, or how did this guy perform in college? When he transferred here and there, he's a 5-star recruit. Does he perform? And over time, you learn the characters. And with the Lamar Jackson, we've been covering this story from the beginning, and it's a documentary or a movie playing out right in front of us. And as you look at football, and to Mike's point, there's also an arc of like the game of like, okay, here's something new that someone can't stop. Or Lamar Jackson comes onto the scene. How will they stop him? Wemby is like this kind of athlete we've never seen. How does this develop over time? Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, to your point, but I do think that is entertaining of itself to see the teams try to stop it over the next couple of seasons.
We do have some breaking news on the rule change front in the NFL. Now both teams can possess the ball in overtime, but amended to 10 minutes.
In the regular season, because that was the case in the playoffs.
Yeah, in the regular season. And expanded replay assist has also passed.
Yeah, I didn't like that. The changes to the overtime rules. Never loved it. For another time conversation, I guess, argument. I think your point is perfect, though, about the evolution of the game. Understanding that we also, while we're viewers of the game, the factors that cause the game to evolve, they have influence on it also. So we need to accept that they also have influence on it and take responsibility for your influence. And don't just wait for the game to change. And that's the final point. We should probably wrap up here for a second, but that's the final point that I would make to you, Mike, is that you would argue that they wait until it gets to that point before we do something. And I would point to these other sports and say, once you get there, it's too late.
I mean, they were so hesitant to change. Major League Baseball was famous for trying to, and the NBA struggled with this. The NFL has been pretty on top of it.
Yeah.
When they hit rough patches, they change rules. When the Seattle Seahawks are doing their thing at the line of scrimmage with their cornerbacks, the NFL is pretty quick to change things. When Josh Allen doesn't get the ball in the playoffs against the Kansas City Chiefs, what did the NFL do? They changed it immediately. So the league is pretty good about that, and I think we should give them some credit there.
So there's a couple of things, right? Number one is the players, like the teams, when they play these guys. So let's use Philadelphia as an example, right? I don't know of any fan who's like, I bought tickets to Sixers-Knicks, and then I found out Kelly Oubre was a DNP. Right. How dare they? Like, the number of guys who actually that move the needle on that of like, I don't feel like I'm getting my money's worth is rather limited.
Yeah, I think that's like the backwards way of looking at that, though, because it's not about Kelly Oubre. It's the fact that if you're a Sixers fan and you get to see Jokic once a year when he comes to Philly or Giannis, and it's when those guys we're playing a dog water Philly team that's playing their G League players. You know what, Giannis, we're going to give you the night off.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't think that, for instance, the Bucks have that luxury, or any of those teams.
Giannis might not have been the best example.
But I'm just saying, like, look up and down all the standings.
I don't think that matters.
It's really easy. Like Cleveland. Oh, they don't have to play that. Yes, they do, because they're chasing the number 1 overall seed. They want a home court advantage in the finals, right? Denver, they're chasing 2 in Houston. Houston trying to keep Denver off their backs. Lakers trying to move up to 2 or 3. Warriors trying to stay out of 7, 8, 9. Like, every single team every night at this point has a reason to play their guys other than if it's a back-to-back. It becomes a mitigated risk, right? So from that standpoint. From the other standpoint, if I'm the Sixers, it's part of it, sure. It fits in with like, yeah, we want to lose these games. But the other part of it is, why am I going to play Kelly Oubre, who I know who he is? I know what he's about. How do I figure out if Ricky Council is really good or not, right? The number of guys, so Miami did this for years with Kendrick Nunn, with Duncan Robinson, with Haywood Highsmith. These are all guys who actually got called up the year before, right? At the end of the year, and they're like, all right, let's see what we got here. And then they come back, and the next year, like, this guy's in rotation. I never heard of him. Yeah, he's been here. But, like, you didn't realize it.
So I think I don't think we need to argue whether it's a problem or not. The perception is out there, and whether you're playing.
That's the problem.
No.
That's if you want to talk about what the NBA's problem is that we allow perception.
But it's not.
To run our league.
That's trying to pretend as if it's only perception.
It is.
It's also fact. Teams are tanking. Let's not. Come on, Amin. Teams aren't tanking.
It's not a problem though.
It is a problem.
Why is it a problem?
Because the game that we got last night, the games where people are trying, are a better product. The idea that it's okay to have some distributors of your product say, you know what, we are going to continuously, purposely put out a trash version of the product stinks. That's not a good precedent to set, and as the precedent has been set, that's not a good culture to indulge.
Chris, you ever been to McDonald's and they told you the McFlurry machine wasn't working?
Hate that.
Every time you go to McDonald's.
I still.
I'm
eat
not
that,
sure what that. So what's okay.
Some McDonald's don't have a working McFlurry machine.
So
Do we boycott the McDonald's?
No, we still eat.
We still eat, man. We still go, okay, give me a 2 cheeseburger meal and some nuggets on the side. Maybe that $5 meal that comes with all this stuff in there. I really like McDonald's.
That's such
Sponsor
backward.
me.
That's such backwards thinking to
No,
me.
it's not backwards
It is
thinking.
back. So hold on.
Everyone's
can I
thinking
ask you-
backwards
Can
right now.
Can I ask you a question? Mm-hmm. Would you like the NBA better if no one tanked? If everyone tried their hardest?
I don't think it would make a difference.
Okay.
I don't think it would make a difference.
It absolutely would
I
make a
don't
difference.
think Washington is playing all its guys. Do you care?
No, I think that teams construct organizations construct teams based on the fact that they are incentivized to be terrible. I think we will be looking at a different NBA. I think we all accept that the NBA is more talented than it's ever been. But we know that some teams are like, you know what? We need to be really bad right now. We construct a roster that way. We bench players and we have games that are non-competitive that no one cares about. And I guess I wanted to get into some of the solves for tanking, but I somehow found the one man in America who thinks that tanking's not an issue.
I think
even the league, even Adam Silver wants them to stop tanking, but you're like, no, it's cool.
I think
we don't need McFlurries.
We're doing 2019 sports talk right now. Like it's not an issue. And the only reason why people are talking about it this year, because I don't remember anybody opening their mouth even halfway to talk about this. The only reason why it's this year is because there's a guy who's coming out that everyone is tantalizing over. And when you got a guy like that, everyone is going to look at every single action as, oh, see, they're tanking for flag again. Like, no, it's just sometimes this is cyclical and bad teams are just bad. And whether they play a player who wouldn't start on 30 NBA teams or not does not change the product, right? The other thing you're assuming, Mr. I love the players, is you're saying that, like, who the hell are these guys? Man, there might be another guy coming in, one of these guys who's playing, getting that time.
Agreed. There might be a guy in there. That doesn't mean that you should intentionally break the McFlurry machine.
So
what are we talking about?
No,
Everybody loves McFlurries. And you like, who cares? We don't need a McFlurry.
No, my point is this, is the McFlurry machine is not working in some McDonald's. That doesn't make you stop going to the McDonald's.
But if you are the McDonald's with a bad McFlurry machine,
you think their sales go down?
You want to go fix it?
If you want a McFlurry, you'd go to.
You might discover another item though. There could be other items there.
This is horse poop. Speaking of the NBA and people who are not performing that well, there's a guy in Atlanta we were talking yesterday a bit about how I was not gonna race Taylor because I didn't want to get injured.
Dog.
So I was talking trash to Taylor, but then I saw this video pop up on my socials, and now I'm no longer sure that I want to embarrass Taylor in a race today.
This is the partner.
Was this guy tanking is the real question.
Tag, go! Oh!
That's a blown out knee, right?
Oh, no! Hold on. Let's make sure my guy is good.
The announcer.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Other guy just continuing to perform.
It's Bagman.
It's not really a
His name is
fair
Bagman.
game at this point.
Was that bad sportsmanship to keep playing?
Hell no.
You don't think they would have just what was the prize on this?
Ragman.
For the audio audience, there's two people competing. They're doing the thing where they have to go make a layup and then they can come back and play tic-tac-toe. And one guy tears his ACL and is just laying down, and the other guy continues playing.
We're not sure that he tore his ACL, are we?
Well, allegedly. But here's the thing. He goes to check on him, and she turns and looks at the camera and goes, yikes, like she's working on The Office or something. What are you doing? Like, you got to vamp. You got to vamp that whole time. You got to be like, hey, man, hope you're doing all right. We're going to get you taken care of with a
How
good bag.
is this her fault?
I mean, did I say it's your fault?
Oh, you're finding fault in her being like, oh no, I don't know what to do. This has never happened before.
Yeah, you got a microphone on. You got to keep talking, keep feeling. You can't just look at the camera and go like,
Defender of tanking, hater of women.
there you go.
I mean the dream.
I mean, do we know he's actually hurt, or is that like, I'm embarrassed, so let me lay down and pretend I have a serious injury?
Wow.
To save face.
This is wild.
Another reason why you keep vamping. You make him prove it. Go ahead, stand up.
She goes, let's make sure my guy is good. What could she possibly have done wrong here?
The part where she's just silent and the guy goes to go check on the other guy. And she's like, oops. Dang is also not vamping, by the way. Dang! Dang!
I mean, it's an in-game thing. It's not on television.
Yeah,
like 60 seconds. They got to go.
There's 20,000. Hold on, it's in Atlanta. There's 12,000 people in that building.
That guy's fine.
I guess maybe you should have some protocol. It's like it's not a crazy thing. It's not like the building got hit by a meteor. Like, we got old people trying to do sporting events. In her mind, she could be like, maybe, possibly, what do I do if somebody blows out a knee and then it happens?
Do you remember The Dark Knight Rises? Remember that scene where Heinz Ward is running and the whole field blows up?
I remember.
There you go. Now, what you haven't seen is the director's cut, in which the in-arena announcer keeps going. That isn't thrown
Amin
off.
was right, and that in-stadium announcer was a man.
That's it.
Yeah, I just was happy that it wasn't Amin embarrassing himself playing basketball.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
All right, time for some tourney talk. We're bringing in college football expert
College
John.
football?
Or excuse me, college.
Get your mind out the gridiron.
My bad, it's hard. Well, I mean.
Hardwood.
John Fanta is also a football enthusiast, but we have him here to talk about basketball. He might be interesting to talk to about the proposal that I just made to David Sampson because, John, welcome to the show. You're a Browns fan, right, sir?
Come on now. Of course I'm a Cleveland Browns fan, guys. Come on now. I'm waiting on my next quarterback here. I got the number 2 pick in the draft. Now, I don't know what we're going to do. I don't think Cam Ward's not going to be on the table for me, but hope springs eternal.
Do you want? Are you one who wants Shador, or would you rather go ahead and get Abdul Carter, or I guess, or Travis Hunter is a possibility there also?
So you know what, guys? My belief system is always this: if you don't have it right at QB1, what does it really matter? But by the same token, at the number 2 pick, to me, Abdul Carter is such an overwhelmingly talented player that it's hard for me to pass him by.
Right.
When at number 2, there are real questions then about the value of Shador in that slot in the draft.
I'm sorry.
No, if they go and get him, I'm good with it, guys, because I got to get that position right. And let's face it, I'm not saying that he is just, but a year ago we didn't have Jaden Daniels doing what he's doing.
Yeah.
And you can go right down the line of other cases in the National Football League. So I'm good with either route. I really am.
All right, speaking of overwhelmingly talented, right now we got all 1 seeds, all chalk in the Final Four, and it's not just that they're 1 seeds. I think they're 4 of the top 10 Ken Palm teams ever in these Final Fours. Like, how excited are we? Are you one of these guys who wishes we had 1 Cinderella in here, or are you super excited about the overwhelming amount of talent and great coaching that we have in this year's tournament?
You know what, Dominic? My thing is, like, when I look at this lineup of teams, this is historic because the last time that we had it happen was 2008, and that's the only other time it's occurred.
Right.
That being Memphis, Carolina, UCLA, and Kansas. Think about this. These 4 teams have a higher efficiency rating than 21 of the last 22 national champions.
Wow.
So I want to see the clash of the Titans. I want to see the best teams play each other. And it's going to be fascinating to see this weekend in San Antonio, where you have Duke, the most efficient offensive team in the country, against Houston, the best defensive team in the country. Where you have Auburn in Florida, and for the better part of the year, Auburn was the number 1 team in the country. They've been the number 1 the most weeks. But they lost the last time they met Florida, the only time they've met Florida this year. And it came at home inside Neville Arena. So there's a bunch of storylines. I truly believe this. We had it so good in the Cinderella column the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. And while college sports is nuts and college basketball is wild, it's basketball, guys. This is not like football in the trenches where the comparable to a Cinderella meets the heavyweight and gets blasted at the line of scrimmage, and it's not a game. I think that Cinderella's carriage just stopped at the BP or the Shell, They're getting the gas tank up. And in 2026, we're going to see that carriage run right back through. I do believe that. But let's not deny that sometimes when Cinderella has made it this deep in the dance, at some point, they even turn back into a pumpkin in the tournament. Yeah. These 4 teams make for quite the weekend in San Ann.
This toasted bracket update is sponsored by Jimmy John's. They're finally here, and they're hot. Try the new toasted sandwiches at Jimmy John's. Order one today.
Nobody calls it San Ann.
They do now.
No, hold on.
We just kicked it off. They call it San Ann right now. Do you do a bracket?
Do I do a bracket?
Yeah.
What kind of question is that?
What do you mean? I didn't know if he did one.
Does Maury read paternity test results?
Oh, you're speaking my language. I love Maury.
Do cows get milked? I mean, come on now. Like, I mean,
how did you do this year? I guess that's more a better question. How did your bracket turn out this year?
Well, I had 3 of the final 4. So I wasn't going to go chalk. I thought I did think it was funny that the people who did and everybody ripped them on selections. Look, you can't just go all chalk, but I did think the top of the country was overwhelmingly good. I thought Michigan State could end up making the magic happen, and Izzo in his 30th year could get there. I did okay. I thought UC San Diego was going to make a run in this tournament. And I talked with Dusty May about this. He's the head coach of Michigan, and he's like, when people say that the Cinderella thing is dead, he's like, UC San Diego was a possession away from beating us.
Right.
He's like, it's basketball, man. Like, I've been on the other side of that at Florida Atlantic when we made the improbable run. You just simply never know what can happen in this thing. And that's why, like, think about this, fellas. Shouldn't Texas Tech be in the Final Four? They were up by 9 with 2:51 to go in the game. Up by 9 with 2:51. You're wondering how the hell they lose that.
Yeah. The 4 teams that are here, and I alluded to the coaches earlier, 2 of them are 65 or over. Then the other 2 are 40 and under. With the changing dynamics in college sports, I think if you would have asked me, I would have said, you know what? Only young coaches from here on out because of how this has all changed. Like, what am I to make of the idea that Pearl and Sampson are in here with Golden and Shire?
A couple of guys who are willing to adapt and accept the fact that their team's on the clock from 2 to 5 every day, and the other 21 hours of the day they're not, because that's our world now. It just is. It's different. Different time, different place. And I think for a guy like Bruce Pearl, he figured out, you know what? My football program's one of the best things I got going. We're going to make money off that. We're going to have cash. I'm going to do my very best to energize the sport of basketball. We're in this climate right now where some of these basketball coaches, some of these football coaches like to get in some sort of a match where who's better, who's this, who's that. I think Bruce has done a brilliant job of kind of just making it a celebration of Auburn sports. And he has adapted, and he's so open to doing media. He's willing to talk to people. His kids want to play for him. There's an energy around that. As for Kelvin Sampson, guys, I got to tell you, I'm amazed by the building job he has done. And I don't think anybody could have predicted this. The last 5 years, they own 15 NCAA tournament wins. That's 2 more than anybody else. They're staggeringly strong. I mean, they multiple Final Four trips, 2 Final Fours, 4 Sweet 16s, 3 Elite Eights. This is at Houston, and they move into the Big 12. They only take 1 loss the entire Big 12. What do I credit for that? Kelvin, being an older coach, can say things and do things with his players that I don't know if coaches under 40 can do, because I don't think it resonates and I don't think it comes through the way. It's a different generation. But it is interesting in college basketball where a Tom Izzo, a Rick Pitino, a Kelvin Sampson can do and say things that maybe the Todd Golden, right, can't, or John Shire aren't saying in their practices. But also there are many coaches who have quit because I think they thought that message would get lost in today's times. And really the older generation, still certain guys are still able to do it. So it is a fascinating dichotomy, but I do think, fellas, we're in a world where we're going to continue to see the younger coaches step up and thrive because they want to be in this pro model, relate to the kids model.
John, that's really fascinating because, as you mentioned toward the end of your answer there, most older generation guys say, I can't coach them, I can't talk to these kids. I mean, I've talked to coaches and even NBA veteran players and say, man, if you talk to them the way you used to talk to us, like you lose the kid forever. So what is it about Kelvin Sampson, about Coach Izzo, about Coach Pearl, that they're still able to keep that old school style about them?
They recruit the families. They recruit the families. They tell the parents, here's what you're in for.
I know you got a hard out. So, lightning round coming up real quick. Okay, you ready?
Great question, though. It's a great question. Yeah, I can give you I'll add an extra minute because you two have been fantastic.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I appreciate it. We got an extra minute, guys. Woo!
Don't waste it. Go.
All right, here we go. So, who is the team? If you're parachuting into this tournament and you're watching the Final Four, who is the fan favorite? Who should we be rooting for, and why is it Kelvin Sampson?
It's Kelvin Sampson because he's never won a national championship.
Right.
I think when you haven't won a title, we're in this world where, like, you have to back up your success with a ring. And it's like, well, it's 6 one-game tournaments, not 1 6-game. You got to win 6 games in a row. He's preached his culture of toughness. People have given him flack at times for being limited offensively. It'd be an amazing story. I think it's his best chance to get that elusive title.
What am I to make of this new tournament, the Crown? Like, there's a whole nother basketball tournament.
Crown is yours?
Is that something that college basketball appreciates and appreciates and respects already?
Well, I think that it's an interesting tournament because it's coming during a week when a lot of people are still starving for basketball, and they're also starving to get in on the action, if you will, watch these games and check out exactly. So I think in that respect, it's got some upside there. You get a game like Villanova USC is a quarterfinal game in this tournament. Just going to be real with you guys. That's better than any game that we've had in the NIT from the brand perspective. So I think for them, between the games, between some of the star players, they're giving out NIL money. I think that NIL is only going to rise up, which is everything in college hoops. I think it's going to have staying power, and it's in Vegas.
The broader than the tournament, we know about the NIL and the revenue sharing plan coming forward. The most recent articles that I've read suggest that the Big East is going to become a basketball power because of the disproportionate amount of money that they'll be able to spend on their basketball programs because they don't have to support football programs. Is that something we should expect? So should next year's Final Four and the Final Four after that be all Big East teams, or is there something else coming down the pike?
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy talking. To me, it's SEC, ACC, and Big Ten coaches and Big 12 coaches expressing this heavy concern because Big East programs are going to be able to dedicate more money from rev sharing. Okay, I'm sorry. SEC coaches have never made under-the-table deals?
Yeah.
Never paid cash?
Yeah.
Come on.
Let's get under the table.
The Big East is set for success, but the Big East has always had a spot on the table.
Right.
Like but whether they have, 3, 4 final, that's not going to happen to that degree. The conference is in a good place because it values basketball, and in college basketball, it's going to continue. They got big personalities, big-time coaches with Pitino, with Hurley, and so on. That's what keeps the league going on top of its prioritizing of hoops. The SEC, the Big Ten, these other leagues, the concept, the idea, the thing put in the press that they're not going to have dollars, get the hell out of here.
Let's go. Way to go, John Fanta. Awesome appearance. Thank you so much, man. John Fanta did it. He's the man. Our first successful interview thanks to a great John Fanta.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for not injecting me.
Started with a bark, ended with a bark.
That's a great man.
He should have been here. Hawk should have been here.
Why?
Well, because the Browns team.
John would
have loved that.
Browns guy. Yeah, absolutely. Charlie and I have been work friends for a long time, and I think in the last year or so, we've probably become like real friends.
Oh, wow. In the last year?
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah.
Charlie.
No, I'm going to
trying, Amin.
I'm going to explain it to you. No, I think that the friend progression. So there is a level of friend that when you know all the embarrassing stuff, that's what I'm talking about. Like, I think that a lot of people you consider your friend, but you're not really friends until you start to meet their friends and you start to find out things. So when Jessica was talking about fans barking, all I could think about was Charlie's friend who, and this is not a friend from last night, this is a different friend. Yeah. This is a different friend who says, or not says, who on third downs, he's a Commanders fan, and on every third down,
squeals.
He gets in a 3-point stance and says, "Let's heat him up."
Yep. 3-point stance guy at a bar. Losing to the Eagles by 50.
At a bar?
What's he say?
Heat him up. You got to blitz. Send the blitz. That just means like get some pressure. Heat him up. We got to heat him up.
He's getting into a stance at a bar?
Hand in the dirt.
Stop it.
So
it rules.
Jessica, this is why I said it's only been the last year or so that I feel like Charlie and I are at a level of friendship where I really know Charlie, because I would never introduce anyone to my 3-point. I have friends who do very embarrassing things. 3-point stance at a bar every third down, yells, "Let's heat them up."
So this is how I'm going to figure out what this level of equality in this friendship is. Charlie, have you met any of his friends?
I am his friend.
There it is. I mean, you met Kevin. Kevin came to the show a couple times.
And DeQuell.
Yeah, you met DeQuell a bunch of times. So yeah. He hasn't met any of my embarrassing friends.
That's what I was asking for. I wasn't asking for the regular friends.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who would embarrass me.
Go ahead.
I'm not embarrassed by my 3-point stance friend.
Yeah, he's
That's
not
awesome.
embarrassed.
He should be.
This is why there's a male loneliness epidemic.
This is why that's only
Take
been
all
a
the friends
year.
I can get.
Doing 3-point stances at the bar.
Let's heat them up. It's third down. We got to get a stop.
It was real tough in that NFC Championship game against the Eagles. He continued to get into the 3-point stance. 1 sack fumble away.
His hand is on the floor.
That's
on
what I'm
the
imagining.
bar.
Is it on the bar? Is it on the
No,
his bar
3-point
stool?
stance
The
is
floor.
The floor. He's doing it on the
Sometimes-
floor. Yeah, it's like sticky.
So when it was tush push time, did he get in a 4-point stance? Because you got to get 4-point stance for tush push.
3-point only. He's an edge guy.
He's an edge guy. He's a pass rusher. Only on third down passing situations.
If I'm you, I'm calling offsides every single time.
That's actually a great idea. I wonder how he would have reacted to that. Not well.
But you can't announce it. You got to just show up with a flag. Throw the flag right in front of him right there. And then turn to an imaginary camera and be like,
Free play.
offsides. Oh, okay.
His wife was very
Free
pregnant.
play. Free play.
His wife was
his pregnant wife was there while this was going on?
She was delighted that he was at the bar in a 3-point stance with me instead of at home with her.
Because
Wait, did you do that at home?
Hold on. I'm sorry. I think I failed to explain this. Every single Commanders game.
Unclear. I can't confirm or deny that.
You guys
I've only
of
seen the
course he does
3-point
it at home.
Yeah, exactly.
If he's doing it at a bar.
You think that the man who does a 3-point stance and yells, "Let's heat him up" at a bar is at home
Honey, it's
sitting
third
with his
down.
leg. I sure hope our boys are victorious on this very important, pivotal third down. No, let's heat them up.
There's a certain part of that that's for attention, right? That you would do at a bar. That like at home, why would you do that?
He's a showman.
Also, I thought it was something repressed, right? Like at home, it's like, don't you dare do that.
Yeah.
I was actually interpreting this differently. I thought this was like a good luck thing. Like he's like, this is what I have to do now.
That's how. No, I took
on third down.
all along as this man's a lunatic.
No, I think he believes the team needs him. It's one of those. It's kind of a superstition, but it's like
Exactly,
I
yes.
gotta get down this 3-point stance.
I
or
actually
we're
just
not
think
going.
I just think he loves ball. I'm not even kidding. I don't think there's anything deeper.
I
than
do
that.
a less extreme version. Like I'll stand up on a big third down on my couch where you're just like, I'm excited. Like, all right, come on, we need this. I need this right here.
No.
Standing's weird.
But I'm not like getting in a
Just
football
kidding.
stance.
The antsy hands is a little weird,
The
but
antsy hands. Show me the antsy hands.
That's just you just get up. You're like, all right,
Chris,
come on, let's go, guys.
Chris,
Let's go.
getting up and standing up is not the same as getting
at
into
all.
a
No,
I know,
3-point.
that's what I'm saying. I
what did
do
your friend
a
do?
version
He's
of
like a
it,
pediatrician or something.
Yeah.
Private equity.
Oh no.
People's money, billions of dollars.
Heat them up. Let's heat them up. I went to a game last season. I got invited to the game, and the third down thing made me think about it. And was invited to this game in a box, and a guy warned us before the game started. Before the game started, he was like, he told the whole room, "I just want you guys to know, I'm a third down noisemaker." It's a classification that I never heard of, and I didn't know you needed.
Now that I feel like, in light of 3-point stance guy, that has a wide lane to be, because third down noise guy might be, oh, it's third down, and on the jumbotron they say make noise, and we go, oh, that might be third down noise now. Or you might get into a 3-point stance.
I didn't think it was a justification or clarification that you had to make until third downs hit.
And then what happened?
And then he went nuts. And it was like a box where all the people were invited. And, there are certain boxes that are a little bit quieter. Yeah. It's like no one in here is like a super fan. These are people like
titans of industry.
A company owned the box, and they brought people just as like a reward. So in this box, everyone's just like, oh, okay, cool. This is nice. This is nice. And he is going ape.
Give me. I need it.
Just, let's go.
Let's go make some noise. Let's go.
Like going.
I've been that guy before.
Are you that guy that implores the people
in
around
the stands
you?
on third down? You stand up.
Come
and
on,
you're just like,
guys.
let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. It's big right here. Big one right here. You just want to kind of inspire other people around you.
You don't think the 3-point stance is inspiring?
No, it is. Like at a bar, it's just a lot. Like the hand down on the gross bar floor. He's trying.
Charlie, does he do it at games? Has he ever been to a game?
I can't confirm. He's a season ticket guy.
So he does it at games?
I don't know. I don't know if the space is there.
I feel like that's a question that can be answered pretty quickly.
Can you sort of do it for us? Because how is he sort of down but still can see the high up TVs at the bar? Like how is he able to focus?
His hips are open.
Good athlete.
So
how's his butt?
Oh, strong.
Great glutes. Great glutes.
Okay.
I don't think that you can get in the 3-point stance at the bar. I just couldn't do it. I appreciate those guys who bring that energy.
I don't.
It makes it more fun. You don't?
Oh, man.
Why not?
I don't need that, man.
You don't?
I'm the. You know what? I'm the guy. First of all, in the bar for sure, because 9 times out of 10, I don't know that this is the Packers bar or whatever. So I'm just coming in like, hey man, let me get a. And then some guys in the 3-point stance. Oh Jesus Christ, man, come on, relax. You know what I am? I'm the that says they can't hear you. You know. That guy's a dick, but that's who I am. And it's not because I think they can't hear. It's because I know it's going to piss them off.
Okay, so 2-point stance, 2 feet on the ground. 3-point stance, 1 hand on the ground. 4-point, 2 hands, 2 feet. What is the number that goes when you're just on your back in the bar?
Touchdown.
No one knows. Just wondering. Just imagining that I'm at a bar. Some people 2-point stance, some people 3-point stance. And there's a couple guys who drink enough that just pass out.
The 3-point stance does stand out more because if I was doing like middle linebacker stance, it's just kind of like, like squatting with your hands on your knees.
A DB stance is just
you're kind of like,
What number is the stance where you have 2 feet in your face on the ground?
Is that the Foxworth stance?
It's definitely not the Foxworth stance.
What's that? There's a picture. I can't remember who it was. They're running off for it was a TO, and you're just kind of on the ground.
Michael Turner.
That was Michael Turner.
Oh, Michael Turner. Yeah, Turner the Burner. Charlie was the producer of Highly Questionable who used to pull up that picture all the time to try to embarrass me because I missed the tackle. Well, I missed one tackle my whole career. It's okay.
Well, they caught it on film, though.
You don't sound mad at all.
Is that how that works?
I'm not mad. I love it. I love you guys. I love 3-point stance guy.
I don't. Come on, man. What are we doing? This is why he does it. Because he's got friends like Charlie like, yeah, man, that's cool.
I think it's pretty cool.
Come on, man.
I would never be that guy.
We just made 10 minutes of
I guarantee you he hates tanking, Amin.
I think I like him more than guy who barks. But
no, I'll take Barker any day.
I think they're the same guy.
Really?
Any day.
All right, Willow's coming tomorrow.
Well, okay. Any guy.
Definitely the same guy.
Yeah, they're the same guy. I think they're the same guy, just Charlie's friend happens to be a fan of a team.
Do you think if Dan was here for the John Fanta interview after you asked about the bracket, he would have been like, John Fanta, a fan too?
A couple other topics that I'm going to throw out to you. I'll give you a choice, and we're going to do our best to find the interesting in both of these topics. So Ja Morant's gun gesture, and the league is currently investigating that, or we could talk about the Saudi Arabian Sovereign Wealth Fund, their involvement or their deeper and deeper involvement in global sports, and how we at one point were all up in arms and we're crazy about Live Golf, and now you look up and they have 340 plus global sponsorships. They're going to be hosting the World Cup in 2034, and it seems like they're going to start entering more and more. They've been in soccer teams in Europe, and they're going to start entering the NFL through private equity funds and other sports in America. So those are your choices. Let's find the interesting, David.
You can't call it sports laundering anymore, can you? It's just sort of normal. Saudi Arabia won. They tried to make it so that the conversation was not about the way they treat people and the human misogyny and death and murder. So instead, they just keep investing money, and then it becomes normal. And they knew it, and we fell right into it. And the Live Golf is such a great example. When Live Golf started, Greg Norman was the CEO. It was going to be this behemoth. They signed all these players, gave them all this guaranteed money. And now Brooks Koepka comes out and says, man, I thought we'd be further along. I thought this would be better. And then the new CEO comes out and says, I don't know what anyone's talking about. We're doing great. We don't need the PGA because we've got Saudi money and we've got the world. We don't have the U.S., but the U.S., that's like FIFA saying, man, I wish the U.S. were better. They don't really need it.
But no one's watching it, though. Like, it feels like just because they have the Saudi-backed money, it has not necessarily been a success. And it's an odd situation where it also, at one point, doesn't feel like it's a success. But also, the people who stood up against it don't feel like they are benefiting. It's weird in that, like, Rory McIlroy doesn't feel like the champion that we thought he was going to be when he decided not to do it. And the golfers who went along with them seem to be surviving just fine. There's no backlash from it. It's weird to think that if you think of it in three different parties as the group that wanted them out and players, the group that wanted to be with them and live themselves, feels like the only team the only group that's actually succeeding is the guys who we kind of characterize as selling out a bit and like helping the sports washing, right?
I think it's even beyond that. Bryson DeChambeau, you could argue, is now the most popular golfer in the world. Period. And there's rumors that he would even leave Live and go back because he's basically made a pot from it. His public perception, he had zero social cost. He had a social benefit from reinventing himself on YouTube and not being on the PGA Tour every week.
And I think you have to realize, Dominique, that was a pretty nationalistic point of view because Liv would tell you there's a lot of people watching Liv. They're just not in the U.S., but they have major broadcast deals around the world. Yeah, it's bad time in the U.S. when you're in Australia or when you're in Singapore, but not when you're in Australia and Singapore. So I think that when they look at their media revenue, their non-U.S. revenue, it's damn good.
Yeah, well, I'm giving an American point of view because
yes.
Last time I checked, I mean, I don't know, this might change. I'm American. I'm in America. This is what I care about. We are bringing in Jason Goff to support me now because we had to kick Amin out because he was siding with David on these boring topics. But
I want to explore David's damp bottom some more. I probably shouldn't have said that sentence as the beginning, the introduction to today's.
Internet lives forever.
Exactly.
Clip it. So, David, I do have a question about how you or the league would handle this Ja Morant gun gesture thing. It's like I understand how important it all is, or how important the way that the league presents itself is, but it does feel odd. I don't know if odd is the right word, that we're calling this an investigation. Like, what are we doing? It's either get a man a fine or move on. Like, I don't quite understand it.
Yeah, I want to be careful here, and I want to get this right. Is that so? And this is, I'm happy to admit what I am, which is middle-aged and white. Is what he did an expression that is commonly associated with guns, or is it a celebratory thing that you do when you score or do something right that's actually not sort of a gun salute type thing? I don't know the answer, and I assume that's what the investigation is. And are other players doing it too?
Well, we're old, David.
Yeah,
and
all three of us.
And Dominique. So what we see now more so is when people are taking pictures, young people especially, some of them like to make the handgun gesture and, let you know that, I keep it loaded, even though no one is shooting anyone with handgun gestures. I don't, the problem I have with it is, who has Ja Morant seen this work for? Right? Like after a while, you gotta study the behavior and think, oh, I've seen this work for Jordan. I've seen this work for LeBron. And even if you don't want to be those people, look at Isaiah Ryder's career. Like, look at certain careers where you're like, maybe I want to stay away from this. And if his goal is to make as little money off the court as possible, then knock yourself out, player. But I don't get it. You know, I got an 8-year-old son. I try to teach him certain things. I'm sure Ja Morant's dad has tried to teach him certain things. But once a guy gets this position and has been emboldened by as much money and also the talent that he carries and the impact that he has on that city, you just got to hope he grows out of certain things. But the gun gesture thing, probably never. I mean, I remember when Chris Webber was doing a throat slash and people were upset with that. So I don't know how this is ever going to work out in his favor, except for the people who are telling him it looks cool on the outside.
The funny thing is, like, I'm hesitant. Obviously, there's plenty of people to talk about how ridiculous it is. Does clearly seem like it's like assault rifle gun gesture. Like, I don't think, I understand. I appreciate, David, you acknowledging that you may not be sure, but it feels like it falls specifically in that category. But I also think about Ja Morant, and I think Zion falls in this category also, and Anthony Edwards falls in this category. I complain often about the early professionalization of youth sports and how we get kind of all these athletes who are trained to be boring,
robots,
and uninteresting, and they play that way, and they act that way, and Ja Morant's not one of those guys. And so, like, I appreciate that Ja Morant skyrocketed in his popularity because of the way they played, and not because of the gun stuff, but because he was interesting. And I like that. But sometimes what comes along with that is he hasn't been polished. He's a rougher rock that hasn't been through this AAU, this Nike circuit that 12-year-old talented basketball players have gone through, which is how you end up with a player like Jason Tatum, who plays incredibly well and says nothing that I care about.
Yeah, but there's people who have come from rough backgrounds who get out of that and then realize, you know what? Not only do I not want to go back, I don't want to even, like, for instance, Isaiah Thomas. You know where Isaiah Thomas is from?
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Isaiah Thomas.
The original.
For whatever, the original Isaiah Thomas. For whatever reason, you make it to Detroit, you make it to the University of Indiana, and you say, you know what? This is what I'm going to focus on. Basketball is key. And then you run into the bad boy image and all this other stuff. But at some point, you know, like with LaMelo Ball, like Ja Morant, like Zion Williamson, extremely gifted, talented dudes, but at what point do you say to yourself, this is hindering the progress of whatever I'm trying to accomplish? Because, you know, in the end, you can't have it as a league. There's certain things you just can't have. And on top of it, especially in this league, where the little hint of violence might sway certain people who have marketing dollars.
So who's in Ja's ear, would you say? Is it his agent, his parents, his sponsors, his friends, his family? And the question is, are they in his ear from a business standpoint saying, hey, be you, be unapologetically you, it's not going to cost you $1? Or are they saying, listen here, you have an opportunity to really have a problem, because he already lost out on the full max deal that he could get because of the issues he had. So is someone actually helping him? That's what the agent is supposed to be for.
I'm not sure that anyone's in his ear at this point. Like, it feels like the people believe that he ran the coach out. Like, he has all the power that he needs in an organization right now. And I think that to push back on something that you said a little bit ago, I don't even necessarily think that it has to do with where the player came from as much as these things are kind of pop culture things that are gestures. Like, you'll see guys hit a three and shoot the three guns where it doesn't matter where they come from. I think that's the question, and how close the NBA wants to be aligned to those things. Obviously, they don't. Whether they want to be
well, they don't want the players to be aligned with it, but obviously where people that invest in the NBA put their money seems to not really matter what they support.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I guess I don't know. The thing that jumped out to me about this is that they're doing an investigation. I don't think you need an investigation.
No.
What's the fine for doing gun gestures? Get that man the fine. Unless you plan on suspending him because of his history, this feels odd to me.
I think this was also something that came up at the NFL meetings this week in regards to, like, gun gesture celebrations and things like that. Like, it's something that got flagged a lot last year in college football and in the NFL, and something that, like, all of the leagues seem that they're trying to crack down on right now. So I it's not just happening with
Well, when
Ja in the
75%
NBA.
of the participants are playing Call of Duty, especially on a day like today when Verdansk has dropped back in our lives. I mean, there's a relationship that is weird there where, you remember when Kobe was a part of the Call of Duty commercials back in the day? Like there's this, hey, this is the culture. This is what we breed in this country in terms of loving guns and making sure that your rights aren't being infringed upon. Just don't do it where a little white kid sitting courtside might be influenced by it. You know what I mean?
I can't wait to the game tonight because Ja's in town. We should get tickets. Go see
I'm
Ja.
trying to.
Go see Ja and play the Heat, right?
Yeah, with Kyle Anderson, who's plus 47 over his last 4 games.
There we go.
Dominique, go on Game Time.
Can you say that again for me?
Go on Game Time. You can get tickets right now.
Ooh, that's Urban Sampson right there. I like it. I like it.
Oh, my gosh. All right, David, before I let you go, is there anything you want us to know before you go? You want to throw out a plug for your show? Tell us how clean or dirty your bottom is, whatever the things are that you like to say.
Well, I've got a good schwitz going because I'm drinking tea right now, so it will require a post-show cleanse. But I will say that I appreciate you helping and having me and paying attention to nothing personal. But I leave you with this.
Okay, leave it.
The Dodgers are 8-0. The Braves are 0-7. The likelihood that either one of them will win or lose 116 games continues to be low. Likely never to happen. Therefore, when you're feeling so good about something and conversely you're feeling so bad about something, just know that feeling is what gives you the frame of reference when things get better.
Words to live on. I love it.
See you, David. Thank you, buddy.
See ya.
I'm not, hey, I needed that this morning.
Did you?
100%.
I did.
I needed it.
I didn't quite get it. Like, what I was trying to do was, like, let's get excited. And David was like, hey, you know what?
Yeah.
Don't be happy.
Don't
be happy. It's dark out there. Like, what I need, like, if I
Time
were.
from a passage from David's Red Book.
I was saying, like, look, I'm not a big baseball guy, but Shohei got my attention.
Of course.
The Dodgers may be chasing 116. That'll get my attention. I care about it. The guy who we bring on this show who's supposed to be the big baseball guy is like, you know what? That's never going to happen. They're not going to win 116 games. And they lined up for the Shohei bobbleheads. What trash is it? That's not what I was looking
He's
for.
a realist. You want pie in the sky. You want all things, seashells and balloons. It's not like that. And the moment that you get out of that world and get back into the reality of David Sampson and the great people here at the Dan Le Batard Show,
You're such a sweetheart, man.
I'm just being honest.
I said, we're looking at the greatest team of all time.
We're not,
and he
though.
said, don't get too happy.
Calm yourself down.
We
He
quite
tried to let
possibly
you know
are.
you don't know this sport the way he does.
We quite possibly
He
are.
ushered you in. He is your baseball Sherpa taking you to that mountaintop, and you're flailing, wanting bobbleheads and toys and all the the accoutrement. That's not what goes.
I like
with this.
accoutrement.
Sometimes.
All right, welcome to the Sans Le Batard Show. I was going to say that it's Game 5, but I think this is the championship parade because we gave him a gentleman's sweep. I'm here with my man. No, it's fun. We're just having a good time. You helped us.
I
You got
wanted
us
to
off
come
the
in
start,
and be
man.
the MVP, man. I had a whole week planned out. We go down 0-1.
Yeah.
We rally game 2. You guys split 3 and 4.
You come in.
And I just come in.
But we're happy to have you. Have a good time. We don't have one other person. But first of all,
That's what happens.
we'll get to that in a second because we got a treat for y'all who are not watching this and you're listening to this. And if you listened yesterday, we got a special treat for you guys. But before that, Tony's back.
What's up?
What's up? Well, that was smooth.
That was smooth.
You know we do.
Tone, it sounds like you've heard some basketball disrespect this week. and you
I've heard.
wanna-
You know what? I haven't heard anything this week because I've
Okay.
been in Mexico on a Cuervo trip with the sponsors and stuff. They've been taking care of me, VIP, wine and dine, the whole thing. So I haven't heard anything. I don't know what's going on. I'm coming in fresh, coming in relaxed. I'm just doing my thing.
Yeah, we just had some conversations about how good people are at basketball, and your name came up. And so we'll get to that at some point. I thought last night when I was at the Grizzlies game, Grizzly Heat game, and Ja Morant was aiming the Draco right at my section, I was so excited because I was like, you know what? Ja just did my Friday show. I was like, off top, the funny thing that happened, and we'll get to this, but
aired out the whole section, bro, with the air Draco. That's crazy, John.
First, he brought out just the little blickies, just a couple little handguns.
Little hand blickies.
Little
nothing big.
hand blickies. And that was like Jub's not. The worst part about the experience, or maybe the best part, was when he pulled the first one out. I went, Jason Goff got us some tickets. They're great seats right behind the Grizzlies bench. When Ja hit the first shot, I think it was in the first quarter, and pulled the hammer out for the first time, the air hammer out for the first time, I put my face in my hands and put my head down like, come on, Ja. What are we doing? There's a bunch of Grizzly fans behind me who started yelling at me, don't talk about that tomorrow. Don't you be talking about that tomorrow.
Turn your head.
I turned back around to him, and I nodded to him like, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Then he did it again. And I turned to them and was like, he wants me to talk about it. And so I found myself going from head in hands, please, Ja, don't do this, to come on, Ja, do it again, hit another shot,
love it,
and pull that thing out one more time.
Hand blicky protest.
He blew smoke off the barrel one time.
Oh, let you know that thing.
I mean, he got hot, so
yeah.
I don't know how
the
much
Draco typically does when you sling
got
that
the air holes
thing
in it. That's
all
why.
over
Gotta
section
let the air holes go.
206.
I don't know how much of this got on to the broadcast, but there were so many times.
You think they had to like make the call, the cutaway call? Hey, we gotta stop showing. Like when the streaker hits midfield, it's like, yo, do not show the hand blicky under no circumstances after every 3 crowd shot.
I was at the game, so I asked Jeremy this morning how much of it was on, and so he named a few incidences, and then I said, what about this one? And Jeremy was like, nope, they ain't see that one. After the game, after he hit the game winner, he ran and celebrated. He did the conversation or did the interview with Taylor Rooks, and after that,
he gave the hand blicky.
He brought it out. It was the big one. It was the big one. It was the two-hander, and just and that one did make it. Yeah.
Dang, man.
It was wild. You know
Shout
who
out
else
to
was
Ja.
at the game? Amin Elhassan. You remember yesterday when Mr. Amin Elhassan told us all, I don't use an alarm clock because I don't need it.
Yeah.
I don't get hangovers. I'm just built different. I knew that was bull.
Yeah.
When I started to think about how clearly your body don't listen to you the way that you think it do.
Nah.
Because I seen you shoot a jumper. But as you guys can see, there's an empty chair. Oh, that's the jumper's up again. Let me see that jumper. Let me see. There's no way that man doesn't need an alarm clock. If your hands don't listen.
You take the trash out.
Look, in Amin's meager defense, meager because he's not here to defend himself. So
why not?
I want to have this conversation with Amin sitting here when he gets here.
So
because I didn't watch any game film. I'm like you, Tony. I didn't watch any game film this week. I don't watch games I'm not in.
Coming fresh.
I just, I catch the highlights. But I did catch the highlight of Amin saying he had the superior being of time, that his body knows better than to let him sleep when there's work that needs to be done.
I'm actually a little bit worried, and I'll tell you why. I've been
That
with
takes a
Amin
different
on different excursions that him and I have had. We've gone to Cleveland. We've gone to a whole bunch of places, right? I've never seen.
At Cleveland.
I'm trying to think of the other place we went to. I couldn't remember.
Salt Lake?
Oh no, what's Salt Lake? And we also went to.
Stop laughing, Billy. Cleveland
I don't
is
know
a
what's
great
so
place.
funny.
I don't get the
Exactly,
joke
thank
on
you.
this
No,
set,
the
Tony.
funny part is I've been to Cleveland, whole bunch of places.
Yeah, we went somewhere else. Amin will
Well, he's
fill us
trying
in.
to
I
say,
don't
like,
know.
if we've gone to Cleveland, you could imagine
So
the places we've been.
To be honest, we were in
together.
Independence, Ohio, not Cleveland. We were staying 45 minutes out of town and then
out
the
to
shuttle over.
Independence.
But whatever, not the point. The point is, I've been with Amin on nights where we've drank very much, and he bounces back quickly. So I've never seen him hungover. The timing body clock thing, he's got like a Kramer thing where he doesn't need the clock. So I'm actually a little bit worried that he's 7 minutes late.
For the people that weren't listening yesterday, let's relive. Let's hear what he said yesterday.
Can we put the camera on his empty chair while we play that?
No, don't do that because now Tony's getting me worried. And I'm not a worried
That's what I'm
kind of
saying.
guy.
That's what I'm saying.
But I didn't even consider that there could actually be something going on and how this is going to age with an empty chair of a Amin without information.
Oh yeah, we could be.
We're going to lose game 5, and it might be worth 2 games.
It might be worse than that.
And we might end up losing the series.
Got to risk it for the biscuit.
But
Play
it also famously failed for Kramer.
Well, yes, of course, but
let's hear what he said yesterday.
Iron Man, dude. Think about it. Someone who doesn't get hangovers,
Okay.
who doesn't sleep a lot, who doesn't need coffee. I am the dream. Who has never caught COVID?
that's also true. That's a lie. I'm telling you, dude. Oh, we went to Milwaukee. That's where it was. Okay, we went to Milwaukee. Funny enough, it was the Dunk-A-Mean thing. It was 2021, so still prime COVID transit.
Prime COVID.
It was.
I don't think
Amin was in this studio sick so many times.
But he never had COVID.
That's not one of those things like, I didn't test positive, I don't have COVID. He was in here so many times sick. He's like, no, I don't have it.
Let's play. I have one more clip. Let's play one more clip here.
This is one of those like stupidly masculine things where you take pride in something that's irrelevant. And
Is it irrelevant?
It's 100% irrelevant.
I don't know.
Like the idea that I don't.
Juju, put it on the poll. Would you like to never get hangovers, not need sleep, and not need coffee? Yes or no? If it's irrelevant, it'll come back 90% no, right? Maybe 80% no? If it's irrelevant. I feel like these are traits that are not irrelevant.
Irrelevant today. They are today. It has reached peak.
Like, I just hope that he overslept after, because the most ridiculous of all those things was I wake up without an alarm clock. Like the no hangover thing. We all kind of know a friend that's like, I don't get hungover. That's not that rare. No, it's not that rare. In the drinking streets, in these drinking streets, not getting hungover is.
I like how you clarified that, because you're like, yo, I'm in these drinking streets.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
you don't know these streets like I know
a
these
few
streets.
guys out there that are like, I don't get hungover.
You
But
can't get hungover if you're never not drunk.
Bam! That's what I was gonna say. Is in these drinking streets, the guy who's like, I never have a hangover. He wakes up, pops one. He wakes up and pops one. Gives a little he says,
call Hair the dog, Dominique. Hair the dog. You just get right back on the train, baby.
Exactly. Those are the people who don't have hangovers. They always seem to smell a little bit like.
It never came down. That's the problem. You never give yourself a chance.
So I got a question. Do we know that Amin made it back home from wherever he was last night?
All I know,
No.
can we bring in Fuentes? I mean,
oh man, what a
because
dream for him.
I would like him.
There's
to
a method
tell
to my
me
madness, though.
What's the method?
The
to
method
your madness?
is, I don't know if you guys know this or not. Amin had a premonition, and the only way that Amin's gonna die is via a car crash.
Oh, we going there?
So
Amin has gone there. It's what Amin says often.
Amin says all the
I've
time.
heard him say that.
All I'm saying is, if Amin made it home last night, he's not dead. We know he's not dead.
There was no. He was staying here, and the Kaseya Center is
across the street.
Yeah, it's a block away.
I think he probably went a couple different places last night, not just the Kaseya Center.
I mean, I don't think
you catch my drift.
I don't think we should put his business out of where specifically he was
Right,
until what time. We don't know.
Well, you need to know where he was
situation.
for us to
We
find
need to know
him.
the time. Chris.
Yeah, we got to
the
track him
location.
down at some point.
Has anybody sent him a text?
Did I
or
tell
a call?
you when I was in Vegas
Okay, we'll
after
come back to that.
after
The
2
safety.
days? No, because it's related.
Okay.
2 days in, they came in and they knocked on my door to make sure I wasn't dead because I had do not disturb on my door for the Super Bowl, and I guess so many people just die in the hotel that after 24 hours of do not disturb, it's protocol for security to come and make sure you're not dead.
Yeah. But also, why didn't you leave the room for 24 hours?
No, I did leave the room. I just had do not disturb. I don't like people I feel bad for them coming in and making my bed every day when I'm just gonna get back and make a mess anyways. I'm
Did
not
you
having
leave the
anyone
room,
over.
though?
I mean, I left to go to
Because
Radio
I
Row.
feel
and
like
then I
they
come
have
back.
video camera in the hallways, and if they're coming, they're like, yo, check the surveillance. Has he left? He hasn't.
I actually died.
Did you jump out the window or something?
I rappelled down. I wanted it to be a fun trip.
So, all right.
So will someone check on Amin at some point if we
someone
just
needs to
don't
check
see
on
him?
Someone needs to check on him. Someone needs to go to the front desk and find out what room he's in and go get that thing a rat-a-tat-tat.
I got an idea. I'm gonna text him. You good? ?
I don't think you're
Bro,
going to
bro step number one. This is how every search for a dead person happens.
Or
You
just
good?
missing. Or just missing.
Or just missing.
So-
But he's never missed work while I've been here. So now I am a little concerned, and I'm going to talk through it because it's good content in the moment that I won't be able to go back and make if the worst case has happened.
So we have, I believe, and this is not my domain, but the way that it's been explained to me is we got a meeting in the morning that starts around Lamar clock, Lamar 30, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I show up to this meeting, and Amin's not here, but he never really is here for that meeting. Amin shows up for kickoff. He is right there. He runs onto the field.
Usually 8:50.
Yeah.
He comes walking in. What's up, everybody?
Yeah. And so
Booby Miles. He Booby Miles is it?
I wasn't concerned.